like I said before, if you come close to the front, it's all about sharing the love in the next couple of hours. It's all good. We're all happy? Yeah? There's a thumbs up there. Thank you for that. Another one, a little woo. Anything from over these? Are you happy? Yeah? Come on. Indeed. Excellent. Grab a seat. Splendid. Are you guys on the back there still coding? Naughty, naughty. Gonna come and grab a seat? Should we name and shame them? Who is that? Kenny's Toblerone. Yeah? Come on guys, what's going on? Alright, okay, just go through the rules of engagement here, just to say what's happening. So, just to clarify, you've got a couple of minutes to actually pitch your idea. Laura's down here. She's got a little buzzer thing. Show us your buzzer, Laura. It's a buzzer thing. It makes a noise. So we're going to do a 10-second thing, so I'll just keep an eye on that, because people, even though the guys sat down here and have listened to Linda earlier, all of a sudden 2 minutes is not a long amount of time. So I'll just give you a 10-second warning thing. And then you've got 2 minutes, and then we'll just do a minute of questions from the judges on the front there. Hands up, judges. Hello. It's up to the judges. Round of applause for the judges. Come on. Nice. That's good. And at that point, so you should all know where you're pitching, where you've signed up to pitching, but what we'll do is we'll get the first couple of teams up here. We're going to flip-flop between two lecterns. So I'll just call you out for the next guy so we can set you up, so we can just keep the whole thing moving. So it's 2 minutes. You've got to bear in mind we've got, what, 27 pitches? Sounds like a long time. It's not really. Yeah, we'll keep the energy up. It's Friday. Who's up for it being a Friday? Oh, yes. Yes. Excellent. Okay. So what else have I got to say? One thing I actually want to say, can I just have hands up for the guys that actually stopped over tonight and fully adopted the overnight principles of the hack? Stand up, guys. Come on, let's have a round of applause for these guys. They hacked it through the night. Oh yes. Awesome. We started having a little bit of house music about 1 o'clock, didn't we? Started pumping up the music a little bit. We got good. You missed a mighty party last night. Yeah? Excellent. Okay, so if I can just get the first team up, which is the guys from The Guardian, up onto your lectern here. Everybody gets a round of applause as they come up. Round of applause for the guys. Setting the scene. Just make sure I've covered everything we need to do. Just in terms of once we've done everybody, we should hopefully have been finished this by 3 o'clock, pretty much. Then the judges will go and deliberate everything they've seen, and in that time we'll just go and have a beverage. Is that fair to say? We'll have a nice little beverage, probably served at the back there, but it's all good. So first up, the guys from The Guardian. 2 minutes, watch the clock. It's over to you, thank you.
Hello, I'm The Guardian, and our hack is called Newsbeat/Newsnight. So The Guardian has written 120,000 words on the US government shutdown story so far. That's 8 hours of non-stop reading. The equivalent of reading Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. We want to make it quicker and easier for people to understand what's happening in the world. Welcome to Guardian Storytelling. You come to your homepage, you have your traditional list of headlines, but on a couple of those stories you might actually see a link to a specific story. You click on that story and you go to our responsive story page. At the top, you have what we call Newsbeat. It's a 30-second multimedia Guardian explainer. At the bottom is Newsnight, in-depth content, deep engagement and participation. Both Newsbeat and Newsnight are driven by story dimensions through linked data. Time for a demo.
Hi everyone. So we start off with a standard list of stories. We're going to go into the US debt crisis, and we're going to kick off the Newsbeat edition.
U.S. Congress passed legislation in Washington to end a 16-day government shutdown and avert a budget and debt catastrophe. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid announced the 11th hour deal on Wednesday, and it was quickly voted on, passed, and signed by the President.
So you get a nice narrative to the story. At any point, you can go downstairs to the Newsnight edition. where you get a more in-depth view on the story, you get the latest update, you get the background to the story if you're just getting into it, the people involved, comment, where you get a chance to retweet, the tweets, analysis, Witness, where you get a chance to contribute to Guardian Witness, which is our user-generated content platform. Popular stories on the Guardian BBC, and what's next to the story, countdown to the next crisis, chance to follow the story, and a chance to vote on what you'd like us to write about next.
Round of applause for the Guardian. Thank you. Good stuff. Well done. Just stay where you are just one moment. If you've just got some questions from the judges, we've got a mic down here. If you've got any questions for the team there?
Quick question. So what was this thing kind of specifically that you brought together just for this? What was the new thing that you brought together for this? Because a lot of this is things that you can see on the Guardian website, the related content.
So we don't have story pages.
Speaking to the mic.
So we don't actually have story pages on the Guardian site at the moment. So the whole kind of concept is new. In particular, the Newsbeat kind of visual storytelling, very kind of quick 37 snacking of multimedia content with the Guardian Explainer is certainly something that we don't do, but we could quite easily do with metadata and automation.
So the Newsnight bit, it looked as though it was in more in-depth explainers. Is this content that has been created for this purpose, or are you really pulling in linked data content?
So it's all content that's already been created by The Guardian. So effectively that page that you saw of Newsnight is an aggregation of, say, 100 stories that we wrote about the US shutdown. And effectively just using linked data, we can effectively just select a piece of text, add metadata to it, and it will automatically appear on that page. So there's actually no more additional work needed.
Can I just quickly ask that, so the news beats section at the top with the multimedia snippets, is that being drawn from dynamic data? Which areas does that come from?
It's all driven through the kind of same story metadata. So effectively, once you've selected your background in a story, it appears in both places, and there's an algorithm, and a kind of speech algorithm that would drive that through, otherwise known as Cecilia.
Good stuff. All right, nice one. Another round of applause to the Guardian. First up, yes indeed, thank you. Take the laptop indeed. Okay, who we got next on this one here? Can we have Lancaster Uni? Where are you guys? Do you want to make your way down? Set yourself up on this one here. Next up, we've got Dapperazzi. Give it up for Dapperazzi, come on. Nice. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
You're good. Okay, just to clarify then, 2 minutes on the clock. We'll give you 10 seconds. Over to you, thank you.
All right, okay. Hi, so we're Team Dapperazzi, and we're here to talk about Ivy today. So Ivy is really built to answer this question. Have you ever watched a video clip and found that you wanted sort of the full story, more about what's been happening in the video clip? I'm just going to sort of show you what we're building, sort of thing. So this is a piece of video playout, like question time or something. Stories are being discussed. As we're discussing, we're sort of hooking up the storyline to the playout. So as you can see now, we're bringing in program now, they're discussing Syria crisis, and we're bringing in the topics associated with that storyline underneath. As we continue, we start bringing in articles relevant to that storyline. As the playout continues, the next thing is being discussed. For example, US debt crisis. We do the same thing, first the storyline, then we bring in the topics, and then we bring in related content. If you want to read the article, you can read it in situ, for example, deciding whether you want to play or just pause it. And if you decide to save things, then when you pause it, or at the end, we bring up a reading list, so the things that you've sort of been tagging as, I want to read this later, that kind of stuff comes in at the end. Cool. So really what this is about is just creating deeper dives, sparked by video, and then powered by storylines.
So here's our demo. If I play the video, you'll see in a few seconds it will preload some content from the storyline API. So now we've got some content coming in. This is to sort of enrich the experience and to make more serendipitous journeys into the content. So we would have normally had tags there. I don't know where they are, but if we sort of scroll down, you'll see this. There are some tags here, so you can go onwards. And if we sort of look at one of these links, we've now got an iframe to the content itself. So you can look at it in situ or save it for later as well. And so this is using the Storyline API, and we hope to add other types of content, not just articles, any kind of content from Wikipedia, be it also visualizations as well, and you can share with friends as well. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Cool. No problem. Give a round of applause. Dapperazzi, so much stuff to go through there. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. Any questions from our panel down the front here?
How would you imagine the video works once you started reading something, so you don't have kind of dual focus? So as you're watching Newsnight or Question Time, and it's throwing up related links, then you've got the experience of the video moving forward, and so would you imagine that stopping?
There you go.
And you could read something straight away. Otherwise, you could add it to a save for later list, which you could come back to at the end of watching whatever you want to watch. That's not work.
I think it really is about, when you're watching video, it's about play out experience. So you want to sort of keep on having that going and try to be as not very disruptive in that space, but still you also want to spark people's curiosity. So you're reading something, this is it, or you're watching something, this is interesting, there is more, I can watch it after, I can watch it in situ.
What's apart from going through the transcripts and comparing it with RSS feeds or whatever, what's different? What's really innovative about what you've done that, say, competitors who've done this kind of thing before haven't done?
Well, for a start, we're using sort of linked data in this space. So this is using Storyline API, so you can get the backstory to, say, a topic. Because, for instance, the US debt crisis, I hear on the news all the time, it's got a global impact on the economy, and I don't really understand how that could be the case. So I want to dig deeper into that content, and that could come from Wikipedia, it could come from other various news organizations, it could be, like I said, visualizations. It doesn't have to just be articles themselves.
And I think experience-wise, video just is really rich, and it can really sort of spark your interest, and then providing you with that onward journey almost immediately while you're interested in that second kind of thing, I think is a really powerful thing.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that, guys. Another round of applause for Dapperazzi. Thank you for the questions. Good stuff. Okay, I'll give you guys that mic. So next up on this lecture, we've got Swansea Uni. Hands up, guys. Where are you? Bring yourself down if you want to prepare over there. Patrick, do you remember Patrick from yesterday? He had a birthday. What's it feel like to be a day older? Is it good? It's great. Yeah, round of applause. I haven't even made it yet, but Patrick's birthday yesterday. Come on down, guys. Next, we've got a little battle of the unis going on here, yeah? Is it all good? So next up on this one, we have Lancaster Uni. You've got 2 mics. Those guys will see that you need to use the mic. It's all good.
Hello?
I will be a bit more diligent on the 10 seconds thing. I'm being a bit...
Hi everyone, we're Team Lancaster. So imagine if breaking news for a particular storyline that you were following could follow you. Our application, Newsbounce, learns recent articles read on a user's mobile device linked to particular storylines. When in close proximity to a public display, such as in the street or shopping centre, the Newsbounce system can display personalised news content related to the most recent storyline a user has shown an interest in on their mobile device. As they move through the city or shopping mall, potentially encountering hundreds of situated public displays, they can receive personalised news content that bounces from display to display. In addition, when public displays are running Newsbounce but not showing personalised content, they're able to show hyper-local content because the system knows actually where the display is located. And so Sarah and Chris are just about to give you a demo.
Okay, for a display in Lancaster. And we're just going to walk through a scenario here where Matt is travelling to work. And he initially starts his day by reading a news article on his mobile device, maybe over breakfast. So we can see here that he's got his mobile device and he can find a news story he's interested in. And then he can start reading that article. Yeah, and once he's read that article, the system knows that he's got an interest in that storyline. So once he's finished reading, he's going to leave home, and he goes to wait at his bus stop for his bus. And as he goes inside that bus shelter, there's actually a display, and that display is showing local news. But as he approaches the display actually updates based on his personal interest.
Nice. Thanks. Round of applause. Come on, give it up. Lancaster University. 2 minutes is not a long time, is it? That's all. Any questions from our panel of judges, please?
I may have got a bit confused, but I'm not sure I understand how the display is showing personalised information if there's anything more than one person, and most of the time there is. How would you envisage that working?
Yeah, so this is a really common question for this space. So there are a number of techniques that tend to be used. One is that you simply split the screen. So you divide the screen up, and for a reasonable small number of people that works quite well. Equally for over time, so you just show one person's content for 5 seconds, you move on to the next person for 5 seconds. And if you're waiting at the bus, that's not going to bother you at all. If on the other hand it's more of a transient space that you need to pass through quite quickly, another technique is that you can actually pull in multiple people's interests and try and find the best common ground for those people.
All good. Okay. Another round of applause for these guys. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, next up on this one, can we have... Thank you. Hurricane Mike, where are you guys? Hurricane Mike. Here they come. Excellent. Are you all coming on, guys? Are you coming on stage? Look at this. Big up these guys with the t-shirts, like proper sporting the brand. Give it up. Round of applause. Come on. First team wearing the brand there. Have you got a nice picture, Matt? Yeah? One for your blog, maybe? Picture? Get your hands up, guys. Come on. Let's get it up. Take some pictures. Loving the brand. Excellent. And even the guy on crutches, I'm not sure if he's actually got a broken leg, but it's just for comedy effect, I'm not sure. Is it legit? It's legit. Excellent. Happy? Yeah? Good? Oh, I'm all right. Yeah. Are you guys sorted? Nice. All right. So, Hurricane Mike, 2 minutes. I'll give you the 10-second thing. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Hi, we're from Swansea University, and we'd like to talk to you and introduce our timeline application, which is an automatic tool which goes through and gets data from the storyline ontology to present it in a visual form in a timeline with sub-timelines. Firstly, we'd like to talk about who might use such a system. So we see the system being used by people such as journalists who are looking to research into the background of an article they're writing, and they can see other similar stories that were in the past that give a context of what's occurred. And also we can see readers, we have the curious reader of news, who perhaps goes away and likes to get a greater sense of themselves about what's going on in the world and what is the story. And we also see a context where someone's been away on holiday for perhaps 2 weeks and they've missed out on a part of the story and they want to know what's going on, so they can use our tool to go back and see not only the main storyline but other similar localised factors which have affected it. And we can see the stories in the context in which they've occurred. So what do we get from this? Well, we can see everything that's happened and when it's happened along the timeline of events. And we can see significant events that have occurred due to the clustering of our articles. The number of articles that are around a topic affects the size of our cluster, and you can see that this is potentially very significant in our storyline. And now I'd like to hand over just to give you a very brief demo of what's happening in the application.
So quickly, the timeline is visualized as time series data. We've got the main events with articles colored in red, and there are other sub-events with the lines coming out as little dots. The people that are part of this, articles that are mostly mentioned are visualized in a tag cloud with the most important people who are mentioned the most. So we can easily just go over them and sort of see what they're related to. And if we click on one of this, we can then read the article to which it belongs to.
Give it up. Questions from the panel here for the guys?
Hi, is the idea that it links off to other forms of media as well, other than articles?
At the moment, we've just linked it to similar stories that exist within, so that can be whatever content is in the API that's been defined. We can either do videos or textual. We were looking to also include, you can tag people and places that have occurred as well and track their cycle through the storyline.
Just which of the challenges do you think it solves best?
Visualization. Yeah, visualization.
What I was missing, I could see the link, the visualization back through the timeline was very clear. How were you visualizing the links between articles? What was that?
The links between the articles were just, so there's each storyline has a set of events, and each event may have a set of articles as well. So the articles are basically just used to color code the event, to say if an event does an article, then we'll color it red, say, so that the person seeing it can know what to expect out of that event when they interact with it.
Okay. One more round of applause. Swansea G. Thank you very much. Okay, so next up on this one, we'll have news apps. Where are you guys? Have a little wave. Here they come. Waving an iPad. Come on down. Great stuff. Hurricane Mike, you guys happy? Do you need another one of these?
No, I think we're right.
Sure? Okay, just get these guys through. Give you 2 minutes on the clock. It's over to you. Thank you.
Hi, we're Hurricane Mike, otherwise known as BBC Weather. So the weather is the news, and it's the only news that actually matters to our audience. So at least we like to think so. On a local level or on a global level, whether it's a snowstorm in your town or village, or a cyclone in India, weather impacts, and there's so much content generated around that. But currently in the BBC, and particularly in BBC Weather, we have a real disconnect between news and weather and getting that content. So to solve that problem, we've mashed together the BBC Weather app using all your favourite locations to surface news content via the Juicer API using geospatial queries, to provide a timeline based on the current weather event in that location, so the newest story, and the history timeline, so you can scroll back, get the content around that, and go back in time to get a bit more context about what's going on. From our audience feedback, we know that the main event that's happening right now is the biggest thing, but it's good to have that extra ability to go back in time, see maybe the snow pictures from last year, and such like. So yeah, that's our pitch. That was the weather, and now time for the news.
Questions from our panellists, the judges? Any questions for the guys here? Are you all happy? Does it all make sense? Yeah?
Can't be that good. Come on.
Launch your mic.
So what I missed in your what was it, Norfolk or Norwich? So what were you surfacing up? Was it all articles about that, or just articles about the weather?
So it's weather-based articles from that area. So yeah, we've used a geospatial query to find a local area and then filtered that based on weather terms, basically.
I didn't quite understand. So in the cyclone, you were talking about the timeline. So would you be able to, so you could see the news story and the weather at the time, but could you go back and see how that, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, so so you see the current, latest story, but then you can go back and see how that story's built over time, building up to the cyclone. Sometimes you might miss that. You want to get the context of all that content that's come from the history.
So you're seeing the weather news story build up and the weather build up?
Yeah, and the weather, and then you get the forecast as well.
Nice. Okay. Another round of applause for Hurricane Mike. Great stuff. Thank you very much. Visual journalism, where are you guys? Hands up, come on. Interaction. Let's do this. Give it up for visual journalism. Come on. Come on down, guys. Oh, yes. You've got a whoop over there. Brilliant stuff. Those guys are coming down. Next up on this one, news apps. All good? All good. I'll give you 2 minutes on the clock. Off you go. Thank you.
Right.
So if you're on the couch, you're watching TV, you're watching the iPlayer, you're watching news, you're watching Question Time, something comes up, you want to know more about it. Our app utilises audio fingerprinting technology to listen to what is on the screen and what is being on the TV, and will provide you supplementary content as it is broadcast live.
So we're going to go for a live demo. It's in a very room filled with ambient noise, so this has every potential to go swimmingly. Let's see how we do.
Part of the problem maybe in our primary schools today really is maybe our schools are trying to juggle too many subjects.
So what we're doing here
there's such a focus
is we're
on
pulling
getting the
from.
very
I'll
rounded
take this down
syllabus
now.
and
So what we're doing is we're pulling from the live topics API, and what that does is that indexes subtitles and extracts content and topics from it. Now, we're using live data. We've pulled out the topics, and then we've gone to the next thing, Juicer. And from the Juicer, we've pulled out articles, and we can also show related articles. So if I tap here, we've got extra related articles. This will load in when the network works. What we found actually, though, is that we found that the live data isn't that great. I think in aggregate it makes a lot of sense, but when you try and use it for specific information, it doesn't work too well. We've also prepared a more curated version where we've actually gone through and listened to the program and identified topics that make a bit more sense.
10 seconds.
Talking about education.
You made it happen. Excellent. Okay. Any questions from our panel of judges down there? There's a mic looming somewhere. Any questions for these guys from News Apps?
In terms of the audio, so you're talking about a radio program or something like that, and you're pulling in data. So in my mind, that's very similar to the video one we saw earlier. Is there something specific about yours that I missed?
The difference is that in the one you saw previously, you are watching the content on the device, which means the device sort of knows where you are, what you're doing. Our app uses audio fingerprinting technology, so you could be watching the content anywhere. It doesn't have to be on the device. You could be watching it on iPlayer, on your smart TV, on your laptop. You could be watching it on catch-up. You could be watching it live. You could have paused it for 5 minutes to go to the toilet, and you come back, and the content is still in sync, and it knows what you're watching and what you're doing.
And just so I understand, so the audio signals you're getting, you then match with the transcripts. Is that right? Time codes?
No. So what we're doing is there's a pre-built bit of audio technology. We didn't build this today, it's fair to say. So we've got audio fingerprinting, which means we're analysing just the wave patterns, determining where in the content we are based on those wave patterns, and then because we know the time code, because we know where we are in time, we can go to live topics API and extract that information.
Okay. Give it up, News App. Another round of applause. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Okay, the Times Digital. Where are you guys, please? Little hand. Here they are. Come on down. Give it up for the Times. Come on. It's Friday, people. Come on. Excellent. I'm going to move this to here so I can actually see what's going on. So we've done the News App, guys. You guys are visual journalism. You all poised, ready to go? He'll do it in a sec. Oh, what's that? That's like proper code, isn't it? There it is. Awesome. Okay. You guys are setting up. You guys are happy. Round of applause for Vision Journalism. Just about every 2 minutes. Friday, come on. Who's up for Friday? Yes. Just 2 people. Nobody really cares if it's Friday. We're going to get there. It's going to be a good thing. Mike Brown, how you doing? Yes. Lovely. 2 minutes, away we go. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. So we know the audience like talking about the news with their friends. We also know that the audience
don't like missing out on stories that are gaining currency on their social networks. In fact, one of the reasons people share stories is to make sure that they're plugged into those conversations. We also know people are time poor, and we know that they love pictures. So our product, we also know that news moves quickly, and that people's social networks change frequently. Our product, which we've called My News Views, is a way of creating a visual wall of news that pulls in the news that's relevant to your social network. This is aimed at an audience of people who've already defined their interests by the people they follow and the things that they like. So why would they want to fill out a load of web forms saying this is what I'm interested in, that's what I'm interested in, when that's already defined organically by the things that they've decided to follow and like on social networks? So just before I began speaking, I put my I put my Twitter ID into this app, and as a result, I can't actually control this, but that's not me. So as a result, what's happened is the app that we built went off to Twitter, scraped all the hashtags, sanitized those into real language, used them as search queries on the news juicer, and returned all the pictures from the news stories that are related to the things that are on my social timeline. And these things are all from news stories. So, yep, there we go. So there's a story on the Mirror, funnily enough. That's from there. So basically, you could use this any time of day on any platform. It might make a great lean back position, but it's probably more for the desktop where you've got a quick splash of news. And it's for stories that matter to you and matter to your social network. It will give you a quick experience of the news in a highly engaging and visual way.
Lovely. Round of applause. Visual journalism. Any questions from our panel of judges on that 2-minute picture?
How is this? So, other things go through timelines, pull out URLs. Is this basically you don't need the URL to make the link because you can make the link through NewsJuicer, or is this what's innovative about this?
So what it does is it reads, at the moment, a prototype reads hashtags because that's the thing that we could build in 2 days. But ideally, what you do is you take the content of all the tweets of the people you follow, or the things that you've liked, and it would take the concepts out of that, feed them into Juicer. Then you've got a concept in Juicer. We know everything that is in Juicer related to that content. So say someone's tweeted about coffee in your timeline, for example. I'm going for a coffee. They could pull out coffee and it could say, oh, did you know that Starbucks has just gone bust? Or something like that. So basically what it's doing is saying it's getting a concept that people are talking about, Syria might be, or anything, going to Juicer and getting the news stories related to the subjects that people are talking about in your timeline.
Okay. Well, it's a very good question.
Quick final question. Because you only showed us very, very quickly. You've played with it. Does it work? I mean, did it throw up interesting results or not?
Yes.
Very believable. All right.
Yes.
It works and it throws up some really interesting results. And the real concept behind it, from our point of view, I think, is discovery. It will help you discover news that perhaps you've missed.
The prototype definitely works. The thing is I think the refining around the results it gave would be part of the second phase.
At the moment it just uses pictures, but the idea is that it can put in lots of video as well.
Nice. Round of applause. Visual journalism. Thank you very much, guys. Visual journalism, thank you. Next up, we've got the guys from Times Digital, but University of Dundee. Hands up. That's a little woo there. Let's have a bit more of that. Round of applause. Come on. These guys are the future, yeah? This is the future, isn't it? I'm not saying you're not the future, but that's a proper team effort there. Look, everybody's on stage, soaking it up, yeah? Good. You happy? There it is. Okay. You guys are plugging in. That's all good. 2 minutes on the clock. Away you go. Thank you.
Okay. So computers aren't smart enough, and smart journalists don't have time to work like computers.
We realized this whilst making a data-driven application to look for the effect of lobbying in Parliament. Sorry, technical error. Okay.
Good.
Okay, can I start again?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so, well, computers aren't smart enough and smart journalists don't have time to work like computers. We realized this whilst making a data-driven application to look for the effect of lobbying in Parliament. To do this, we implemented a machine learning algorithm. The input is the MP's register of interest, and it's a Google S-type algorithm to rank their speeches, early day motions, written answers, and tweets by how similar they are to the register. And so we have a working demo of this backend. So this is one MP, and there's all his speeches ranked by importance score. And this one has come up first because he talks about Airbus, and he has Airbus in his register. And we can show the register here. We can also look at the matrix of similarity, which is what this is looking for. So it's looking for the word money, and Labour appears more than Conservative. So it does it also by party. However, a computer might be able to tell us if something is similar, but it can't tell us if a behavior is suspicious. And it definitely cannot tell us if our suspicions are justified. So we had to find a way to hire help, and that is in the form of people. So we made a game to try and train this algorithm, to crowdsource training of this algorithm. And so we give you Westminster Watchdog. And so you can connect using Facebook. Sorry. I've already logged in. So it goes straight to this page. But when you first log in, it will ask you your postcode, and then it gives you your home page as your local MP. You could also then go search MP by name and look for party streams. So this is an example of the stream that's coming out. At first, what it would do is it would give us these scores here.
10 seconds.
And you need to train your dog. So what you can do is you can feed the dog by adding similar words to this matrix. So if, for instance, in the register there's Shell, you can add oil, OPEC, petroleum. And you get points, and you get scores, you can compete with your friends. You can train your dog's nose by saying, actually, I'm going to change this ranking algorithm, and you get points, and you get all sorts of cool stuff for your dog, and you can compete with your friends to be top dog. And this in particular is Barky Dog, because you want to warn journalists that there's something very interesting in this. So this is an actual data point from Tom Blenkinsop early day motion. He welcomed Sahavira Steel Industries, takeover of Chorus, but if we see in his register, so we've got this company in his register. We're a minute over now. Okay. Well, this is his register of interest, and he got a holiday in Thailand with
Totally ignoring, smashing the time, just get zoned in and just keep talking. It works, people do it. It's all good. It's all good. Any questions from our panelists?
What does the dog do to the MP once you found it?
We could put in an Easter egg where we can get the dog to go on Twitter and start saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Or we could do stuff.
Had you been thinking about this idea before you came, or did you do all that in the town hall?
I thought of it and I had hard-coded it using the They Work For You API, but after I had hard-coded it and saw that, so I was doing a specific word search using their API, I realized that we want to make something general, and regardless of however I did it, there was always false positives and false negatives, so I'd always hand a journalist at least 15 pages of stuff to work through, and I realized that no matter what you do, you want to try and get something that's a learning algorithm to try and train it best, because words and stuff will change all the time. So I had hard-coded it previously by just writing a script, and this is actually basing an application to try and crowdsource that machine learning.
Nice. Okay. Give it one more time. The Times. Thank you very much. Times, University of Dundee. You can have that. And who's next up on here? So BBC K&L, where are you guys? There they are. Faith's doing a nice big wave. Thanks for the wave, Faith. Round of applause for them, guys. Coming down. Good stuff. Excellent. So you guys got a couple of minutes. You're happy?
Hi there, we're from University of Dundee. First of all, despite the comments that my teammate made yesterday, this has nothing to do with fridges at all. So this is NewsDash, which is basically a news dashboard that will make it easier for you to browse the things that you're interested in. I always find myself going on, for example, the BBC website, and there's tons of new articles, and I'm not sure if I've missed some articles, and I'm not sure which ones I've read. And this one is designed. This application is designed for you to be able to track what you've read and what news stories you've got. So you see the numbers at the top. They will indicate how many news reports there are in that topic that you've not read yet, and the circles around it indicate how many articles have been within the last 24 hours and the last hour. So as you see below, we've got, if you click on anything, you'll see you've got all of the news articles below, and it gives you a little brief just beside it. And if you go to read more, this is a bit of a tech demo actually. We're going for the kind of graph node-based relationships. So as you can see, start up at the top, and the US debt ceiling continues on down, and each story relates to the next story in the line. We're going to have this actually, on the actual site, but we didn't have much time, so it's kind of ended up a bit more of a tech demo. But we're able to make it so that if you click on one of these, it'll take you to the actual news article itself. Cool. 10 seconds. One more thing, it is very scalable as well. The way that we've designed it, basically there's not a huge amount of the relationships made in the BBC API yet, but as those relationships start getting made, that basically just do its own thing and work around it.
Hi, the first list that you showed, what was that based on?
Just bring that back up.
So this one, yeah?
So that list there on the left, what's...
So these are all of the articles that belong to, so for example you have the trending, which would be the kind of most shared news articles on the BBC at the moment. And essentially down the left-hand side it'll list the news articles, and on the right-hand side it'll give you a small kind of summary of the news article, and then you can choose to go and see the next
Okay, so it's based on sections or whether it's trending?
Yeah.
How are the categories at the top defined? They're defined by the user?
Well, at the moment, they're just hard-coded in, but we did envision the ability to be able to log in, make your own profile, and choose the categories that are relevant to you. And it's obviously not everyone's interested in technology. It's a crazy.
Lovely. Another round of applause for the University of Dundee. Thank you very much. I know that buzzer thing sounds quite brutal, but it's the only way to actually get through. It's not really Laura just being like, get off. It's a way to get through these things. Great stuff. University of Dundee, BBC KNL. Excellent. You can have that. 3 minutes, 16 seconds. Where are you guys? There they are. Both of them. Come on down. Round of applause. Slap security down. Good stuff there, taking in. You guys happy? All right, 10 minutes. Away you go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're team 4K now, and small 1R from the iPlayer. I'm going to bring the tone of fun down a little bit now, because the example story that we use it about is actually about a machete attack, which is a compelling story. But we thought, what makes a story more compelling? And one of the things is, how close did that story happen to where you are? So, for example, if this machete attack happened outside the front door, I'm sure everyone in this room would want to know about it. If it happened in an obscure, faraway place, such as Salford, then we'd be less interested. So this product is aimed at users. This is a quote from our audience testing. Aimed at users who care about stories close to them, but at the same time they don't want to miss out on the big picture. They want to know what's going on in the world, but they want it all. They want both things. So what we developed was Pinpoint, and Pinpoint highlights those stories close to you, or the places that you care about, and this is how it works. So I come to the dialogue screen, and this is a live example, so we hope that the story is still on the index. We're interested in Rotherham, that's where we live, or we've been on holiday, or our mum lives. And we scroll down the index as normal, but very subtly and very discreetly, there's a little pinpoint by the story. Now, we don't know that that story is from Rotherham by scanning the index, and actually we may easily browse over it. But that little indicator, once the users get used to it, show that that's actually something about a place that we're interested in and compels users to click.
So why stop at news? We'd like to see Pinpoint across bbc.co.uk, visually representing places audiences care about on iPlayer and knowledge and learning pages. Future development may include partnerships with social media companies, so it could be seen on BBC links on feeds on Twitter and Facebook, providing an extra layer of relevance.
Lovely. Thank you very much, round of applause. 4K now. Was the original now? Notice it's changed on there. 4K now. 4K now. Lovely. It's a Friday thing there. Can you see that? Excellent stuff. Any questions from our panel of judges down there? Good stuff.
Have you done any thinking about how many stories this is relevant for? Because, of course, a lot of stories have many, many different place names, and it's not actually what's relevant. If they say Rotherham, if it mentions Rotherham or mentions their own being, and how far do you go without spamming people with these annoying pinpoints?
Well,
potentially annoying pinpoints.
Annoying. So it's up to the user. You can type in. What we recognise from users is that local isn't local anymore, and our local indexes, the sum total of the indexes get viewed 16 times less than just the home page of news. So local isn't local. Local can mean many different places. It can mean where your mum lives, where you went to university, where you go on holiday. So you can type in as many as you like, but that story is tagged with the location that that story is about. So when we ran it through with a number of locations, it's generally maybe once every 2 or 3 days that you see one of these pinpoints. It's quite discreet and it doesn't overload the page.
So are you relying completely on tagging as opposed to any keyword search when you talk about other content?
Yeah, it's just tagging. Yeah.
Excellent. Round of applause. 4K now. Super, thank you. And also, we're 10 pitches in. Let's have another round of applause for that. Come on. 10 pitches in on a Friday. Let's get some hands up. Come on, come with me. Get me some hands. More hands. Uni people, get some hands up. Let's see some hands. Mike Brown, let's see some hands. Come on. Yes. Matt Shearer, come on. Yes. Amy, get your hands up. Come on. Panel of judges, get your hands up. Come on. Nick Newman, get your hands up. Yes. We're all here. Everybody's here. Excellent. You're here. 3 minutes, 16 seconds are good. You guys are there. University of Sheffield and PA. Where are you guys, please? Here they come. Round of applause for the guys coming through. Here they come. University of Sheffield representing Yorkshire. With a bit of PA as well. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. No pressure. Good stuff. Awesome. They're setting up. 3 minutes, 16 seconds. That doesn't mean that's how long we've got. You've got 2 minutes on the clock with Laura. Away you go, thank you.
Hello, I'm here to introduce you to Rubik's News, which is a more fun way that you can explore and find some news. The user benefit behind this is that when you go to a homepage of any type of site, you'll find that it's generally the journalists who are telling you what to watch, or what to view, what to look at, because they put it in order that they want to see. We want to get rid of that, and I'm specifically targeting people who only have a few minutes spare, maybe on the way to work, maybe going around doing things. They want to find out what's hot at the moment and have a more fun way of doing it. I don't want to scan through long lists, I just want to see visually what's going on in the news today. So what we did, we broke it into 2 streams. The first stream was using Twitter to gather all the tweets, and that's not just hashtags, that's actually indexing all of Twitter tweets that have specific related information in there to news and sports, and then we're indexing them so that we can use them. We then use the Live Topics API to find out what the journalists are thinking is going on at the moment, and then we store those in a database. What we then do is we mash the two together to find out what the people on Twitter think against what the journalists are thinking at this point in time. And that gives us our list of content that people can view. We then grab all of the images from those articles and we wrap it into 3D texture maps so that we can put it into a more fun way of viewing it. And what better way to do it than pick the world's second most popular toy that's out there at the moment, which is, if I can click a button, the Rubik's Cube. So up the top right-hand corner, you have a list of the current topics that Twitter thinks are most important. They're floating around up the top there. You can click on one of those. The Rubik's Cube will, in a very timely fashion, refresh and will show you all of the articles, and you can play around with it. You can spin it around. You can spin it around this way, spin it around that way. And I'd just like to point out that all the BBC signs are because you won't let us access your images over the internet, so there are actually images back there, we just can't get access to them at the moment. And once you find something you like, you can click on it and it will open up in a new browser for you to view. And I just ran out of time.
Awesome. Great stuff. Good presentation, good demonstration, excellent stuff. 3 minutes, 16 seconds. What is all that about?
About 4 days ago, a person broke the world record for doing a Rubik's Cube while skydiving at 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
He's not even here, but they get a round of applause for that as well. Pretty good, isn't it? Hey? Whilst skydiving?
Whilst skydiving.
Skydiving, awesome. Any questions from our judges on that?
So can you just explain that bit again? So you've worked out from Twitter what are the sort of most interesting, or the things that are being talked about most? And then you've got the topics API.
Everything that's being talked about within given topics. So we're not just pulling down what everyone thinks is popular, we're pulling down everything. And then we take the topics that the journalists are talking about and we use the index that we have of that to find out what is really important by what people are talking about. At the moment we've got it set to about, was it a 10-minute window? So we're looking at the tweets within the last 10 minutes. To see what's popular, so it's very instantaneous what you're seeing. We can actually update that tag cloud in real time, so as more come in, we've opened up a WebSocket and we can pull more tags in as people are talking about it. So it's instantaneous rather than over long, long periods of time, because that's how the news goes.
So you're not just using Twitter's hashtags or trending, you're actually working out your own trending?
Yes, well, we're combining it with what the journalist thinks important, and then we're indexing it all. And
right,
we're
but to get what's
own.
going on in social media, you're looking at the Twitter stuff specifically?
Yeah, it's dynamic trending, for want of a better word, because it's using what the journalists are thinking is important to then build that list up from there.
Okay. Another round of applause for 3 minutes, 16 seconds, aka Trinity Mirror. Thank you very much, guys. Take the laptop, Rubik's News. Awesome. Okay, Mozilla, BBC, is it Furthermore? Yeah. Is that right? You guys come on down. Give them a round of applause. They're quite near the front, but they deserve one. Come and set up your stuff. Brilliant things. University of Sarah, you all good? Yep. Happy? All right, let's do this then. You don't need another mic, do you? You're all good. Okay, 2 minutes, away you go. Thank you.
Hi, we're from University of Sheffield and Press Association, and we're collaborating already on research in text analytics, so that's kind of our interest today. What we've built is a semantic search web app that combines the power of searching across text, semantic annotations, and linked data. And we see this as a tool primarily for journalists to enable them to dig deeper into stories and things in the news. So it supports their research, their fact-checking, and enables discovery of new connections and contexts that they might not have been aware of already while they're preparing their own material. I would say the syntax on this is horrible, but that's because we wanted to make the thing work. I think in future we'd want to look at better ways for usability.
So just to give a few examples of the kind of things this lets you search for that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get just straight through the BBC APIs that we were shown yesterday. So this is an example of a search which looks basically for people born in Sheffield who are being quoted saying whatever. So this is more than just a semantic search saying give me documents that talk about people born in Sheffield, but this is actually specifically people born in Sheffield who said such and such. So we're looking for sort of quotes. You might use it, I mean, this is using DBpedia as the underlying knowledge base, so you could even constrain and say, specifically politicians born in Sheffield or politicians who represent the southwest, constituency in the southwest or whatever like that. So we've just sort of got for each individual article, we will we have the article text along with whatever the query matched. We pull the images and so on, and then any sort of people and places and organisations that are mentioned in the article, we've shown places on the map and so on. But as we say, the query language is a bit nasty, but we would work on better query building tools later.
Can we just make a final plug that the underlying technology that we use will be available on a product called anamarket.com, which is a new software as a service platform for cloud-based text analytics, which will be open and ready in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Go to anamarket.com and sign up your interest if you want to get involved with the...
Nice little plug there. Round of applause, University of Sheffield and Press Association. Already on the mic, very quick question to the judges there.
So obviously you've won the prize for best plug. What do you think in terms of the most interesting use case on this? Where do you think where would you see it being used?
Well, I think it's just the idea behind this is it's not really intended as a sort of public-facing tool. This is more of a tool for journalists in researching background information, trying to find, specific sound bites, specific bits of information quickly and sort of, really tunnel down to the bits of interest rather than having to wade through pages of irrelevant search results.
I think this example shows where it's really useful. So, somebody's maybe just got a large bonus and the journalist wants to find out who else got a very large bonus recently, maybe from the same company or same field. So you've got queries here for people getting bonuses over £5 million and things, and finding the organisation involved as well.
Great stuff. One more round of applause for the Sheffield University, PA. Great stuff. Lovely plug. Those guys. You guys are Mozilla, BBC, furthermore. Next up on this one, DMF. Where are you guys? DMF. Nice big wave. Come on down, guys. Come on down. Let's get some round of applause for this. Let's step this up, people. It's Friday! Come on! DMF! Work it, baby! Come on! Come on, no pressure. Keep it going. Come on. Come on. Quick as you can, guys. Quick as you can. Oh, love that. Come on. Up you come. Great stuff. Good stuff. Nice. DMF. What does that stand for? It's like KLF, but one better. Okay, you're not going to burn £1 million though, no?
Not unless someone puts it.
All right. Okay. All good, guys?
Yep.
All right. Do you need another mic?
No.
Have it anyway, just in case. You never know these things. Go on. So 2 minutes on the clock. Away you go. Thank you.
So we've been looking at publishing and how we believe it should be more of an open relationship between the journalist and the users. So our hack is could be a particular benefit for local newsrooms or where the resources might be stretched, and potentially in local newsrooms, local people will know a lot more about the news events that are happening. So this is a collaborative tool, and it's much more a much more constructive way than in getting a more constructive way to get involved than just commenting, because quite often on articles people will just start moaning about things. So this is a way of collaborating in line with the journalist. Over to Frederick.
Okay, so how do you fix online commenting? Simple, you do what coders do, which is you do pull requests. In case any of you don't know what a pull request is, it's very simple. I've got a news story here, a little article, and you can see already that there's this paragraph here, and it says, well, this has been improved by Annabelle Church. And down here, there's another paragraph that's already been improved by someone. Now, if I read this, I'll maybe notice that there's Prime Minister David Cameron here. So what I do with the Prime Minister David Cameron, I'll just kind of go in here, add my M, and this is so much better than writing an email to the editor and saying, hey, you forgot this M here. That's what makes people into trolls, right? Having to write an email about a missing letter. So I'm submitting this. I'm hoping I'm submitting this. Yes, I have submitted this. And now I go over to another window where I'm logged in as the author of this article. And let me refresh this quickly and view the submissions that I have. So now I've got a pending edit from one of my readers. I can see Prime Minister. Prime Minister doesn't look quite as good. I'll incorporate that edit. It's added, and the next time I go to this article, spelling's fixed, the article's a bit better, and commenting online has improved a bit. So the idea is really to kind of use readers as sources of information, especially on local information and on specialized knowledge, but also on the small and ugly stuff like typos.
Lovely. No, round of applause. Great stuff. Good one. We've got a question from the panel of judges?
What would you say that the key fresh innovation is here?
Oh, we've stolen this from coding, right? Coders do this really successfully. That's how open source really gets made nowadays. It's just that the news hasn't caught up yet.
What happens when lots of people try to edit a contentious paragraph?
Well, I mean, in real life, you probably have some interface where you can kind of merge different changes that come in, and that would be a bit more complicated, but it's doable.
What category are you entering this in? What did you have in mind?
I think we were trying to surprise you.
The surprise, okay, thank you.
Great stuff. Round of applause, come on. Mozilla, BBC, and furthermore. Thank you very much. Okay, next up on this one, we've got the grads. Where are you guys? The grads? Lovely. Just the two guys? Give them a round of applause. It's the grads. Come on. I made the fatal error of calling them undergrads yesterday, and I virtually got punched in the face. Yeah? So I don't know whether to go there, but the grads are next up on here. So DMF, you happy? Do you want one of these? Have it? Yeah, you never know. Just hold it in your hand. It's all good. There we go. Has that sort of done it? A lot of work's gone into that, isn't it? Great stuff. Good use of your time. Any ideas, guys? Round of applause for the AV guys. Come on. Sorting this stuff out. Every time. Hey, look at that. Nice one. Superb stuff. Okay, so if you're happy, you've got the mic, you're all good.
Yeah, sorry.
You can start 2 minutes away you go. Thank you.
Hi, we're going to present a news bite. So it started with, the concept that, sorry about that. So yeah, most of the users says, I don't have time, it's really hard to keep up with news. I can't bother with news that I'm not interested in. So basically, time is a real issue today. So we found on the internet that the average person has 4 hours of free time per day. So it's really not a lot when you think you have to get breakfast, go to work, and that kind of things. So basically, this app is for people who like to stay up to date, don't have a lot of spare time, and want to find out the most important and relevant news since the last time they checked the news. So it would be like an Android apps that's going to show the 10 most important stories since I checked the app for the last time. And how the app works is basically it's going to get the top stories that have been published since the last time I opened the app. It's going to find the number of occurrences of the stories across multiple sources, and it's going to prioritize the news closest to my location. The idea is to basically show the most 10 important stories since the last time I checked the news. So obviously it's not going to be the same thing if I checked 24 hours ago or 2 hours ago. Things we didn't have time to add, but would add a lot to the app. Would be scraping data from Twitter or Facebook, or learning from the reader's habits, so it's going to be more and more accurate. So here's the demo.
Okay. Yeah, anyway. So we developed the backend
which is 5 hours late, I would say.
So basically the idea was that when you check out, let's say it says it was EU visit out 24 minutes ago, you're supposed to show the latest stories. But because our backend is behind, then yeah, it's 5 hours behind. But basically what we're doing on the backend is we get the latest stories for the time you haven't seen the output. And then basically we query Guardian to get in how many times this news occurred we think that's a time span. And basically based on that we ordering the list of news. And then we apply some user preferences like this situation with this location as well. Looks like it does.
Okay. Round of applause for you guys. Dear man. 2 minutes, where does it go? It just disappears, doesn't it? Awesome, okay. Any questions from our panel of judges?
Yeah, how does the app query the popularity of the story across other news sources?
Could you just repeat your question? Yes, sorry.
How does the app query the popularity or the number of other stories written about that?
So basically we take the latest news from Guardian and then based on the title and the description at the moment we extracting entities using the Alchemy API, which nicely gets you the most used entities within that text. And then we query the Guardian and we're searching for those entities in the Guardian, and then based on the number of returns, like total number of results, we are setting the number of the number of occurrences which you then use for reordering the list. Yeah, in that case, so yes, at the moment it's limited to stories from the Guardian, but obviously this is a web service which can be then updated with another websites in the future, right?
Okay, nice one. Round of applause for the guys. Thank you, DMM. Good stuff. So next up on this one, we'll have the guys from Lat Long team. Where are you? There they are. Come on down, guys. You're going to bring the whole row with you. Why not? Round of applause for the guys. Come on. Good stuff. Nice. Okay, you just want to set your stuff up there. The grads. All good? Yep. All right. Nice one. Like that. 2 minutes. Away you go. Thank you very much.
Hello, we're a team of current and ex-graduate developers from BBC Future Media, and we've been asking ourselves, in the era of 24-hour breaking news stories, with storylines that often span months, years, isn't it frustrating when you lose track of a story? Broadcast TV is a linear experience, and once you've missed an event in a storyline, it's rarely recapped in full on the news on television. But it doesn't have to be this way. So we've prototyped connected storylines, where the whole story is never more than a button away. And here's Robin to give you a demo.
Okay, so I'm currently watching BBC News and a story comes up that I'm interested in. I want to get the full picture, not just what's happening right now. So the debt deal, for example, all I have to do is press red, and the whole storyline comes into view and I can explore it right there on my TV. So it jumps me to the very latest event in the storyline, but using my remote control I can just navigate back through all of the key events in the whole storyline. So these are the events that are happening now, but also all the way back, so you can see here 9 months ago, a story that really kicked off the whole storyline. So you've got a great way to navigate through the events. If you hone in on one of the events in the storyline, maybe the shutdown, the conclusion of the shutdown, you can then navigate through all of the BBC content that's related to that event. So in the example of an article, I can just read it right there on my TV, or if there's a video clip that takes my interest, I can just play it right there and jump back, maybe find another video to watch.
The Republicans decided that they would go for
And just
a
watch it right there.
shutting
So
down government.
our audience feedback panel said to us this is a great way to explore a storyline. It's really simple, but it also gives you access to the entire storyline going all the way back. So our code's available on GitHub, we're running a demo on Heroku, and we're using the Juicer live APIs, so do have a look when you get a chance.
Jeremy Tarney loved that one. He was virtually like I saw you. Loving that one. Storyline. Come on. Another round of applause for the guys. Excellent. Good. Question from our panel of judges?
So this use case is TV, limited to TV, and how much of that have you done in the last 48 hours?
So the day before the hack day, we had a simple, just empty boxes moving left and right. Everything else, which involved building an API on top of the Juicer API, feeding in the content, doing the UX, we've done yesterday and today.
There are 3 other people in our team.
There are other people than just
We're a
us
team
in
of
the
5,
team.
but...
Any other questions, or is that it? Is that good? One more question?
I just want to confirm, how did you get the story identifier off the television then? Off the actual news broadcast? What are you looking at?
That's not something we've worked out how to do technically, but so we just stuck with the debt storyline as an example. You could use something like the Live Topics API to pick stuff as it comes out. We kind of wanted to capture that moment of watching TV, and I think we've all done it where you get out your phone and go, I need to know more about this story.
All right, great stuff. And did you check this out? Auto cue on the bottom as well, on another screen. Round of applause for the grads. Great stuff. Nice one. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Beautiful stuff. Culture Lab, where are you guys? Yeah, there was a fist there. I like that. Yes. Give it up for Culture Lab. That's their thing there. Come on down, guys. Keep that round of applause going. Keep it going. Come on. It's Friday, people. Come on. Energy. I'm watching you, Mike Brown. Yes. Do that stuff. Great stuff. Okay, lat longs. Are you good? I'll give you another one of those. You might not want it. Oh dear. Are you happy with that resolution thing?
No, but we'll work with it.
Are you sure?
We'll battle through in a responsive manner.
In a responsive manner.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 minutes. When you're ready, away you go. Thank you.
Okay. So our goal is to try and make complicated stories simple. So we want them to be easy to understand, but also easy to tell. The way we want to do that is we think that a lot of people remember news stories through places. So you might remember the Syrian conflict or the Woolwich attack or the Japanese tsunami. So even though you're a bit fuzzy on what happened in the Arab Spring, you remember that there's so many countries that were involved with it. You don't remember necessarily what the dates were, but you know that those places were important. So what we've done is we've used those places as chapters or gateways to get into those stories. So what we've actually made is a page that moves through and tells the story as you scroll the page. So you can get, so in this case, it's going through the Arab Spring. That's got very nice kind of clear entry points with Tunisia and Egypt and Libya. And as you move through, we actually pick out those places on the map, or although places are the ways in, we know that stories very quickly become non-geographical, so we knock those places back and go into nice kind of rich images and video and things. So I think what's really special about this is the fact that it's really quick to stitch together. So we chose the Arab Spring first, but then it took about an hour or so of me messing around with the file to make it about the Edward Snowden story, where place again is really important. It's about him going to Hong Kong and then Moscow and then maybe to Cuba, but then not really. So I think that's the key thing really, is that we can tell these stories very fast. So it feels not an unimaginable leap to hook it up to the Connected Stories API and actually make it real. So it's so I should say this is all working. This is all proper kind of code. It's not production ready, but it's all kind of doing the job quite dynamically. So to summarize, this is to help our audience understand the news in the way that the journalist wants to tell it.
Lovely. There we are. Nice one. Thank you very much. The Lat Long team. We've got a question from our judges, or are you all happy with that? I think there's a mic coming down.
When you've chosen something like the Arab Spring, obviously a huge subject, how do you decide which stories to select based on the place? I mean, what's the mechanism that's saying we're going to show this one first and that one second?
Yeah, so the main thing there is picking out the actual countries and places as the ways in, and I suppose this is a way of finding gateways into the stuff that the connected stories API might surface. So then it's, I think there's going to be a certain amount of journalists cherry picking this and saying these are the ones that get picked out.
So it's dependent on the Connected Stories API to answer that question, not on your work.
Our idea is to feed back into the sort of the semantic model so that something like this could be generated almost entirely dynamically by enhancing the model.
Splendid. Okay, round of applause for the guys. Lat long team. Give us your locations. I'll take that from you. Excellent, thank you. Great stuff. So next up on the lectern we've got here is Culture Labs, but if we've got Sky News, where are you guys? Sky News, hands up. Round of applause for Sky News, they're coming down. Yes, indeed. Come on. It's Friday, people. Are we still feeling Friday? Yeah? We're getting there, aren't we? Yes. You're with me, aren't you? With me. Yes. Good. Just pause for a moment. Remember where we are. Yeah? It's all good, yeah? Are we all happy? Yeah. Yeah? People thinking about a little beverage later? Yeah? Yeah? Come on, what's the matter with you? Hands up for the beverages a bit later, come on. Yes, round of applause for the food and the beverage, come on. Shoreditch. Oh yes. Nice. Thank you. Are you good, Sky News?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Cool.
And you're good?
Yes, thank
you. Do you need another mic? Or you just on your
no,
own?
you're
going to do it on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's done there. Culture Labs. You are. Who are you?
Culture Lab.
Culture Lab?
Yeah.
You've already done that bit?
Not yet.
What's happening? Where am I? What's going on?
I don't know. Shall I crack on?
You're next, yeah?
Yeah.
Come on then. Off you go. 2 minutes.
Cool. So Newsdrop is a community journalism toolkit which supports community journalists in facilitating discussion within their community around topics raised in Parliament. So it's also consisting of a deployable, dynamic newspaper, as well as an online community publishing platform. So what we've done is we've taken Parliament discussion transcripts from They Work For You, content from the BBC, Twitter, and some other places, and obviously your stories. So as a community publishing platform, they can put their stuff on there, and then we hope this will create a better informed community. So what is it? I'll give you a quick brief demo. So I come on, I'm a community journalist. I see the hot topics that were discussed in the House of Parliament over the last couple of days. I go, oh wow, that's great. I'm going to go back to a current story. So what this is doing now, this is going to the BBC APIs, pulling in all the different various articles, as well as videos, and it's also going onto Twitter to find stuff on there. And I can also play videos, attach stuff back onto the display, which is projected by a Pico projector, which is very Pico in its size. And then what you can do is you can add all these different things. So I can add this onto the live paper over there, and this would be a deployable in situ device. So this is a .NET Gadgeteer thing, which I'll get onto in a sec. So the idea is that you can go on, write yourself a story, you know, hello, how do you do? This is for your community centre, and then add a poll. You might want to poll for the current questions around the Parliament topic. And then what you can do is the next bit, and that is see the stuff on our lovely live interactive newspaper. And this would sit inside your community hall, and I'm going to scoot on. So basically it's a display which has a bunch of stuff in, and you can ask questions to people to poll for questions. And these go back into a dynamic graph, and basically you can also attach a camera to draw stuff in and then post it back up on the news thing. We're using .NET Gadgeteer, They Work For You, BBC Juicer, and Snippets, Yahoo, YQL, Twitter as well. Go. Thank you very much.
Well, of course, thank you, lads. Great stuff. Good stuff. Any questions from our judges down the front there?
I'm sorry to have to ask this, but I'm not sure I actually understand why. So who's what's the purpose?
So the purpose here is really just to get community journalists using BBC data and obviously other data that's out there for them to tell their own story about topics that are in the Parliament. So if you know Parliament's talking about one thing, you might deploy one of these installations in your community centre, and then basically you might go, okay, what do we think about this topic? Let's come together and create some sort of news article for the community we live in.
Lovely. Another question down there.
So the shard of news behind you. So what's the killer app on the shard of news? What is it that...
So yeah, we kind of missed it. I kind of flew by. So we've got... Yeah, go on.
Very, very quick rundown of what's on it because we missed it. So the big green light on the top goes green the more locally relevant the news is.
It goes more green what?
It goes greener the more locally relevant the news is on that particular story. The scrolling display tells you the current story title. There's a screen on the side with some buttons which allows you to poll, and then there's a pad for you to write comments. So rather than kind of going on Twitter where you can write a comment, post it through the slot, it takes a photo of it, and that appears on the newspaper.
Yeah, right. Well, that last bit works.
Yeah, everything works. Yeah. And we built it all from scratch.
Fantastic.
Round of applause for building that from scratch. Yes! It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Culture Labs, excellent stuff, guys. Thank you very much for that. Good stuff. I think I've recomposed myself. Sky News, good. Brian Fantana, where are you guys? Where are you? Come on down, big up for Brian.
Hey, we're Sky News. I'm not sure we can follow that, but our hack is called Talk News. So following on from some of the advances we've been seeing in natural language kind of user interfaces, Talk News is a voice-driven news aggregation service. It reads you snippets of news and then it gives you the option to dive in to a little bit more detail if you want to know a bit more about it. And at the same time, it's aggregating news from different kind of news sources. So you could be in the car, you could be busy getting your breakfast in the morning, or you could just have your hands full. Talk News would be the app for you. So, how does it work? I'm going to dive into the demo. For the purpose of the demo, I'm going to click just so I can talk to it and talk to you at the same time. So I'm going to ask Talk News to tell me a bit about what's going on in the news today. Tell me the news.
Slavery fight to stop traffickers steps up.
Okay, so that's good. I'm going to ask it for a little bit more. I'm just going to say next. Next.
Toddler dies in house fire in South Yorkshire.
Yeah, that was a bit grim, so we'll keep going.
Hunt nation as shame of forgotten elderly.
We'll find a good one. Okay, so I'm interested in this one, and I want to know a little bit more. So I'm going to ask you to tell me a bit more.
The video shows shoppers running away from the gunman and dropping to the floor as bullets fly through the air.
You can also see through our content and matching API, we've identified there's some more stories from some other sources there, so I can go BBC News.
Before apparently being shot, Kenya mall bodies, probably
Okay,
gunmen.
telling me a bit more now from the BBC News there.
Rubble of Kenya's Westgate shopping centre are highly likely to be those of two of the gunmen. An MP tells
When
the
we're done, we
BBC.
can just finish off and we could say, thank you, bye-bye. And we're finished. So that was Talk News. It is voice-activated, on-demand news aggregation service.
Great stuff. Very good. Very good, guys. Good stuff. Any questions from our judges down there? There's your mic on the floor. Should anybody have a question? Good stuff. Hacking with their shoes off yesterday, I noticed that. Anybody else hacking with shoes off over the couple of days? Indeed you were. And we were here at midnight, 1 o'clock last night. We had the house music on, didn't we? We were still here. Indeed. Where everybody else went, I do not know. All good, isn't it? Yeah? Splendid. FT. Great. Okay, Brian Fantan? Do you want another one of these? I'll give you that.
Hello.
Okay. I'll give you 2 minutes on the clock. When you're ready, away you go. Thank you.
Hello everyone. We're actually BBC News. We're the World Service wing of BBC News. So the problem we're trying to solve is really that there's lots of news sources we have, and we know there's lots of stories out there. And it's sometimes really hard to find the area of topic that you're interested in. And also, we didn't really want to avalanche people with lots and lots of stories. So we took a simplistic approach, and in 2 days, we built something that's more visual, a little bit more interactive, and could be used by the public as well as maybe journalists who are following a particular theme or topic. So I'll hand over to Will.
Yeah, so the main thing that we got from the audience feedback was, people want something that's really, really simple to use. They don't want, overcomplicated stuff. They don't want to be clicking through lots of different things to get to what they want. So let's get into a little bit of a live demo. This is the interface that we built. And the link that you saw before, if you want to have a little play with it, please do so. And we basically just pass it a certain topic or a certain idea. So of course, the hot topic at the moment is dogs. And you can see it's pulling various different things in. We've got large-scale images in there. You've got media in there as well, so you can hit play on a video. And this uses the Triple Store API, so Guardian, the Mirror, Huffington Post, and it's pulling in all these different sources of content. It works in a timeline fashion, so you can scroll down the right-hand side and you'll see what's been happening over the course of a certain amount of days. We wanted to focus on short stories, so not having a large amount of content to read through. This is something you can do on the train. It's something you can do while you're out and about. We've got filters as well, so if you only want to see stuff from the BBC, you can untick the other two, just like that. We want to create something that is very visual, very easy to use, very simple, and allows you to surface things that would normally be considered quite, different or not normal, search queries. So not technology, not UK news. You can put something really abstract in here, and it will give you all the news surrounding that particular idea. Thank you very much.
Round of applause. Brian Santana. Good stuff. Any questions from our judges down there?
Quick one. I missed how you were filtering for topics. Just go through that again.
For topics or... Okay, so the way that it works is it uses Triple Store. So we're pulling from The Guardian, The Mirror, various different news sources. And what Triple Store does is it returns to us all the different stories based upon a particular search query. So we've searched for dogs in this case. You can search for iPhone 5 and it will return all the different stories. You can see here we've got the logo of where this piece of content came from. So this one came from The Mirror. The one below came from The Mirror. The one below that came from The Mirror. The one below that came from the Huffington Post. And if you want to go into that particular story, you can simply click on it and it will take you, provided the Wi-Fi works of course, will take you to the website and you can read the full story if you wish. But the idea essentially is that we're giving users really short, abstract pieces of content, and they don't have to go off and read the whole story. They can get what they want just by looking at a short bit of content, or in certain cases there may be a piece of media, there may be a video on there. So there's a video piece of content at the top just there.
Lovely.
All right.
Yeah, so are you really selling this on the Triple Store capability or on the UX?
So, I guess it's a combination of the two. The main thing that we found was, users are really restricted in a sense to be given what the journalists want them to see. So if you've got, say you go to the BBC News website at the moment and you click UK, you see stuff about UK or you see stuff about just about technology. I may want to see all the news articles from across the news industry that are surrounding the iPhone 5 at the moment. There's no product out there at the moment which gives you all this news in this particular form about a certain topic. You might have a particular interest in astronomy, and this will show you all the news in a timeline fashion that's going off about astronomy. And timeline is something that people are getting more and more used to, with Facebook and Twitter, and we're kind of bringing the news in sort of a social media way, I suppose, to an idea that could be really abstract. Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, we'll wrap that one up there. Another round of applause for these guys. Brian Fantana. Thank you. Nicely done. Thank you very much for that. Good stuff. BBC IRFS, where are you guys? Some fingers there, I like that. Round of applause for IRFS coming down here. Good stuff. Come on down. These are the guys that hacked it through the night. They deserve another round of applause for hacking through the night. Come on. Come on, Shoreditch. These are real hackers. Stayed up overnight. In your own time, guys. Yeah. Huh? Who's BBC IRFS team? You're there. It's not you. Get off! Get off! What's the matter with you? Boo! IRFS, listen up, people. Come on down. Give them a round of applause. They said he sort of deserved it. There we go. All good. All good. Financial Times. All good? Give you one of those? Yeah, for sure. We've got FT tops on as well. They are, aren't they? They're quality, aren't they? Good quality. Nicely done. All right, 2 minutes. When you're ready, sit down. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Lisa Pollack. I'm a journalist at the FT, and one of the things that I really struggle with as a financial journalist is bringing numbers into perspective, particularly in finance when you have these really, really big numbers and you want people to be able to relate to them somehow in a way that's actually relevant to them. So what we did is we developed a Chrome extension where you could actually specify what type of reader you are. So one of the types of FT reader that we might have is a US banker or maybe a US economist. And then you go to read an article, and say there's this one about corporate debt, and you see a figure like 30 billion. And since you said UK banker, one of the things that we're going to relate it to is recent acquisitions in the US by US companies of other US companies. Since you said that you're an economist, we want to relate that to, say, GDP numbers. And since you said you're a US economist in particular, we, rather than a general economist, is that we want to relate it to sort of budget line items for the US. And so that kind of offers this perspective when you've specified what type of reader you are. But the one thing that I'm finding really exciting about this is actually really good for kind of pub trivia. So if we go to the next article, this is one that's about UK retail sales, and this gives you a figure for weekly retail sales in the UK. So it's like all that we spend all together on average in a week, and this so happens to be equal to the GDP of Iceland. I'm really looking forward to using that one in the pub. So another one that I want to show you is...
Oh yes! Still sporting the news hack t-shirts. Good evening, guys. Huh? Yeah, why not? Patrick's getting a bit early there. Nice. Okay. Right, 7 judges. They've been away, they've been deliberating all your ideas. So, round of applause for the judges. They're going to come up here. Come on, judges. So, what we've got 7 prizes, 7 awards. We've got Best in Show. Yeah? So it's like Crufts in a way, Best in Show. So maybe the person that had the best collar, something like that, the most check in one team, possibly. I don't know. But Best in Show, then we've got 6 prizes across the board. So, judges, do you want to do a mic? So, who's your spokes?
Yeah, sorry, I'm grabbing the mic, sorry Robin. Just a quick introduction to the judges, so that you know who's been deciding on the fate of whether you get the prizes or not. On the left over here, Robin Pembroke, Head of News and Weather for Future Year. This is where my mind goes blank. This is one of those nightmare moments, isn't it? Peter Rippon, Head of Editor of Online Archive for BBC. Anthony Sullivan, Head of Product for The Guardian. Nick Newman, well-respected and famous independent news product consultant. Sorry, Nick, I've got the LinkedIn bit there. And Christina Scott, who is Chief Information Officer for the Financial Times. And John Paolo, who is head of editorial for Sky News Online. Okay, so let's go through. I think each of the judges has an award to give, is that correct? So we'll start with Robin Pembroke. I'll start at the other end. Let's start with John then.
Okay, thank you. The award for the best visual news that
scales goes to the hack that we thought looked absolutely lovely, felt like it could be used both by the public and by journalists, and would be brilliant when geography is key to a story, as it often is. It goes to the lat longs.
Where's the lat long teams? Come on down. Keep it going, Shoreditch. Come on, lat longs. Bring the whole team down. Oh yes, look at that. News hack hoodies. Woo! Oh yes. There you go. Toss those out, Matt Shearer. Toss them out. Yes. Excellent. Another round of applause for those guys. Lat longs. Splendid. Good stuff.
The next award is for the best journalistic tool. This was a subject of heated debate in the judges' chamber, but we particularly liked the way it combined mechanical data mining with crowdsourcing, and the way it used gamification to make it engaging. And it goes to the Times.
Come on down, the Times. Well done. Even a round of applause for yourself there. Come on down. Keep it going, Shoreditch. Come on, show some love. Show some love. Oh, yes. Lovely. There we go. And a cheeky little hoodie from Mr. Matt Shearer. Amazing. And one more. You're doing really well at that, Matt. Well done.
I'm giving a prize that we didn't tell you about beforehand, which is the best academic team. And I've been to quite a few hacks, and I don't think I've ever seen quite so much thrown into a single hack. So these guys had built everything from scratch, very impressive, and even thought about the use case. And I'm equally happy to say that I also went to this university, and it goes to the Culture Labs.
Hey! Culture Labs. Well done, guys. Great stuff. Culture Labs. Clap them back to their seats. Come on. Yes, Culture Labs. Well done, guys. They're the ones that built that stuff. We love that.
Okay, the next one is an award that we made up. Well, we didn't really make it up because it came out of us watching very carefully and realizing there were a lot of live broadcast experiences using linked data. So we made a category that says best live broadcast experience using linked data. And this particular one we felt was fantastically elegant, simple, clean interface, a clear, simple idea using linked data, effectively surfing storyline content. And the award goes to the grads.
Hey! Come on, the grads. Great stuff. Keep that applause going, Shoreditch. Oh, yes. Handing out those hoodies, yes. Well done, guys. Well done. Nice. Well done. Great stuff.
Okay, the next award is in the was in the fourth category, which was the surprise us. So it didn't fit into any of the first three, and we felt the idea was very well presented. It was clearly running on real data and in real time, and the winner is the app of death and destruction from Sky News.
Sky News, guys. Round of applause. Well done, guys. Great presentation. The hug shot. Well done. One more round of applause. Sky News. Thank you, guys. Well done.
This next award we kind of made up because we liked the product. We thought it was great use of data, great visualization. So the category we've created is best hack that's never likely to be picked up by BBC News, and that goes to 3 minutes and 16 seconds for their Rubik's Cube. Well done.
AKA Trinity Mirror, 3 minutes 16 seconds. Well done, guys. Rubik's News. Going for the glamour shot, that's it, get in there. Lovely, round of applause. Well done, guys. Splendid.
Right, so it falls to me to make one group of people very happy and everybody else in the room really disappointed. Before I do, just from me, I know there'll be lots of thank yous, but what a great lineup of judges from such an array of different organisations. Thank you, other judges, for coming. And thanks to all of you again. We thought it was really difficult actually. The time whizzed by in there, and it took us a lot of discussion and a lot of time because overall the standard was really good. And it was difficult to pull out who was going to be the overall winner. But what we centred in on was the fact that what this idea was really simple. It was really clean. We could all see it being used on our products. You know, as soon as it was available, it could be used across different genres. We think it was genuinely done from scratch. It was innovative. The award goes to the Financial Times.
FT, best in show, yeah? Yeah, best in show. Give it up for the FT. Get those hands up, guys. Come on. Woo! Get them up. Well done. Well done. Certainly hacking with the shoes off definitely pays off, clearly. Are you getting the group photo? Matt Shearer needs that for his blog or whatever he's doing with those pictures. Oh, nice. Very arty. Splendid. Excellent. Round of applause. Many thanks to the judges. Appreciate that, guys. Okay. So, Matt Shearer. Give it up for Matt Shearer.
Can you hear me? Thank you very much to everyone who came. I'm not going to do a long string of thank yous because we've got to get out pretty quick, actually. This, I don't want it to seem like the end because this is really beginning of what we see as an ongoing set of activities. We're planning another event. Laura, don't get cross, I think maybe in March. I think we're aiming for another one like this. It might not be in London, it might be somewhere else. In between now and then as well, I'm very keen for those who want to get involved with us on the open data technologies that we've been using and some of the ideas. I've already had a talk with a few of you actually. So Storyline and linked data, triple store activities and Juicer and all the stuff that's been going on here. Just get in touch next week. Email us at connectedstudios@bbc.co.uk if you want to keep those keys going, if you want to use Juicer on an ongoing basis, and if you want to get involved with us in Connected Studios at the BBC to iterate on these technologies. So email us. If you forget that email, just tweet us at BBC News Labs and we'll remind you, okay? So next steps are, we're going to be testing some of these. So I hope you publish them online. Also, next week, we're working on Juicer V3, so we've already got some features in the Trello for Juicer V3 from this event. And I look forward to hearing from you guys about what you'd like to do with our APIs, any ideas you've got for your own ones for us to use. Get in touch next week, and I look forward to speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Great stuff.
To the fantastic folks at Connected Studio for really running this event. They've done an amazing job. So that's BBC Connected Studio.
Thank you.
Cheers.